You know, Bernardo Rivera is one guy that I wish I can just beat the shit out of. I want you guys to listen to what this dumbass said regarding hip hop, racism, and blacks in America.
You talk about liberals and conservatives as if they were sort of equally ideologically and self-contained camps. Do you fit into either one of those?
No, I'm a militant moderate. I borrow from both. For instance, I am, as I mentioned, immigration reform, gay marriage, and abortion are all things that's why I voted for Barack Obama 3 times. On the other hand, I hate Benghazi. The Benghazi has become pornographic. I think the way they flogged the Benghazi non-scandal, I think it's really very unfortunate on the right-hand side. But I think that, for instance, hip-hop. Hip-hop has done more damage to black and brown people than racism in the last 10 years. When you find the youngster, a Puerto Rican from the South Bronx or a black kid from Harlem, who has succeeded in life other than being the 1/10 of 1% that make it in the music business, that's been a success in life, walking around with his pants around his ass, and with visible tattoos, or it is this whole ethos. And I love Russell Simmons. He's a dear friend of mine. I admire his business acumen. At some point, those guys have to cop to the fact that by encouraging this distinctive culture that is removed from the mainstream, they have encouraged people to be so different from the mainstream that they can't participate other than, the racks in the garment center and those entry-level jobs. And I lament it. I really do. I think that it has been very destructive culturally.
Okay, so you guys heard what this character had to say, and before I get into his actual comments, I want to say something regarding hip-hop. There's people with the mindset of Bernardo Rivera that are outside the black community, or those inside the black community, those who might gravitate towards the older school hip hop, where when it was political, or even like the early part of that gangster movement or whatever. We have people who like to critique hip hop, like to say what it's not or what it should be, or etc., or the images that's portrayed. And the first thing I'll ask these people is I'll say, what are the 4 elements of hip-hop? And 85% of the time, these people cannot answer that question. And when you cannot answer a simple question like the 4 elements of hip-hop, your arguments get thrown out the window. Because we have a lot of people in and outside of the black community that critique hip-hop but don't understand the art form. They don't understand what hip-hop was meant to be. They don't understand the history of hip-hop. They don't understand how hip-hop has evolved from when it was started back in the late 70s or early 80s. They don't understand the culture of hip-hop. But yet they'll try to critique it and say certain things that are negative towards hip-hop when you don't even understand the culture. And, Bernardo Rivera is one of those guys that come out here and, talk all this garbage about hip-hop and, use very ignorant words. And like I said before, regarding hip-hop, a lot of times people that, again, don't know shit about hip-hop, just like to critique it, or maybe they're stuck in that 80s, 90s type of hip-hop, they don't understand that hip-hop is not defined by what you hear on the radio. Nicki Minaj, Lil Wayne, Drake, Rick Ross, all these guys or females that you see in the mainstream do not define what hip-hop is. You got a lot of people who are underground, that do political music, that maybe do just feel-good music. Some people that, might have a gangster element to their music, that are underground, that make very good music. And maybe they are known, but they're just not in the mainstream. But people who don't actually follow today's hip-hop or even understand the culture don't know that. So what they do is they critique hip-hop simply off of what they see on BET or one of these music video channels, or what they hear being played on the radio. The radio is gravitated towards a certain audience, and what they feel is going to reach a wide demographic. And people don't understand that about the music industry and about radio. You have some artists that, their main single that might be on the radio It's not their favorite song. But business-wise, it's the right song to put out there. And people just don't understand the business side of hip-hop and how things really are constructed. What they really do, they really box hip-hop into this small little box. But I say that to say this. Bernardo Rivera is a complete asshole. He's a dumbass, and he's one of the dumbest people that has ever had a microphone in front of his face. Now, you say that hip-hop has been more detrimental to blacks than racism. I don't think hip-hop has locked young black brothers up so they can work for 5 cents in the prison industrial complex. I don't think hip-hop has casted out a black person that was highly qualified for a job but just didn't get the job because of the color of their skin. I don't think hip-hop made a police officer gun down somebody simply because they weren't wearing the right attire or they were black or they had a hoodie on. I don't think hip-hop brought our people over here and enslaved us and is still trying to enslave us right now, here in 2015. And I think it's highly disingenuous to come out here and say that hip-hop has been more detrimental to black folks. Look around you. Understand what's going on. Every time we open our laptops or we turn on the TV or we read the newspaper, whatever, we see some type of injustice or some type of insult directed towards the black community. And this is no different right here. But see, Bernardo Rivera, he's one of those characters that, he wants to conform to white standards. I believe the dude is white and Hispanic. So he's one of those guys, well, I can play both sides. If I put on a business suit and say all the things that white supremacists want me to say, they'll accept me. And I'll say that, you Negroes shouldn't dress like this, or you shouldn't like this certain hip-hop, or hip-hop should be this, and et cetera, et cetera. The same old redundant bullshit that we hear all the time. Nobody says nothing when rock artists go out there and talk about killing animals or killing their mom or, murdering their wife or their kids or their girlfriend. Nobody says that contributes to these little white kids going into these schools shooting up everybody. Or the Unabomber. Nobody relates that to each other. But it seems like because you got black men, I'm going to put that out there, black men that are making money from an art form or using their conditions to progress them economically through their music, that pisses people off. And I'm not somebody that sits back and and can't look at the faults of hip hop, because I do think there needs to be some improvement in hip hop. One thing I've said, and I say in board meetings when I'm at work or when I'm marketing out certain artists, one thing we need in the industry and we need in hip hop, we need diversity. We need more, I would say, conscious rappers that are out there in the mainstream. Even though we have them underground, we need them in the mainstream. We need different type of hip hop artists that are put towards the forefront. I think a lot of these rap artists do need to watch certain things that they say and not always glorify the drug mentality, the gangster mentality. Or if you're going to talk about that because that was once your life, you talk about the downfalls of it. So I do think there needs to be some improvement within hip-hop. But no way in hell am I going to sit here and say that hip-hop has been more detrimental to the black community than racism. Racism has been here for over 500 years. And it's alive here today. And we got people like this character, Stephen A. Smith, them little company men, or those men that would do and say anything because the white man is cutting them a check, and they'll come out here and throw the black community under the bus and disrespect us. And it's the same character that came out here and made a statement when that whole Trayvon Martin thing was going on. He was talking about, black men, you guys shouldn't come out here and wear hoodies. Why should we have to stop what we wear, or we got to step on eggshells when we walk outside because of the color of our skin, because of what might happen to us simply because we're wearing a hoodie? I don't see no white boys getting gunned down when they go outside with a hoodie. But the black man got to watch what he wear. Then he wants to go to Don Lemon route and talk about this pants sagging shit. oh, bro, if you pull up your pants, then you'll get a job, or, you'll be more accepted by the dominant society. Get the fuck out of here. Whether I go into an interview or I walk outside with my pants hanging off my ass or my pants pulled up, I'm still looked at as a black man. To some people, I'm looked at as a nigga. It doesn't matter how much money I'm making or what type of clothing I wear. I wear suits when I go to work. I still get pulled over by the cops. I still get harassed. I still get bogus ass tickets that I have to fight in court. So that whole thing about, these dudes out here pulling up their pants, that's bullshit. Don't try to convey that to the issue that we have going on out here towards black Americans. But, these guys out here, like, this guy, Steve Harvey, Stephen A. Smith, these are the type of dudes that need their ass kicked. So, I just wanted to, come out here and do this video because it did piss me off. I thought it was highly disrespectful for him to come out and try to make certain ignorant comments like this, and then he tried to cover it up by saying, I love Russell Simmons. And I have my issues with Russell Simmons, but that was a cover-up. He tried to cover it up by using Puerto Ricans because he knew if he just said black, people wouldn't have took him as serious. But we still don't take your ass as serious because you're a dumbass. You Luigi mustache looking motherfucker. Who the fuck are you to come out here and say hip-hop has been more detrimental to the black community and racism? Get the fuck out of here.